Okay, welcome everyone to the 8 Hours of Bathurst, hosted by ACM. A little bit late on the stream. I was having a little bit issues dealing with the race control, but either way, we're here and we're now watching Porsche in a McLaren. It's been a while since I've seen him in a McLaren, but starting his lap in qualifying. He is the first car to go out on track at the moment, followed by Tamara in the 240 McLaren as well. We know Eric is also driving in that car, so we should see a Porsche Andrea rivalry return once again. So it should be a very interesting quali and very interesting race. So just a little bit of information. So I am streaming the first hour and quali of the race, and then hopefully we'll pick it back up at the end of the race as well. And that's something I've just noticed on my screen. You can see it in the top right of your screen as well. It is 10 minutes is rain. So these guys have a 20-minute quali session, but it's pretty much just been cut short by 10 minutes. So I'm sure these guys are absolutely pushing to the limit right now to try and get their laps in. So this could provide quite an intriguing quali, as these guys might end up getting a few wet laps on dry tyres at the end of the session too. But we'll have to see. At the minute, it looks like pretty clean from Porsche at the moment, so we'll go on board with someone different after he finishes his lap. But for now, it is looking pretty good. Again, you can see everyone ahead of him still trying to set their laps because a little bit later to the party than others. But at the moment then, Porsche coming up to the final corner, and we'll see what the lap time will be when he crosses the line. It is a valid lap, so he'll cross the line now, and it's going to be a 2-minute 2, still quite competitive. I'm sure he'll try aim for the 59s. Tamara does a 2-minute 6. So yeah, this is going to be quite interesting now with the rain. It's only light rain, but it only takes a little bit of rain to make things difficult. But we'll go on board then with Tamara, and we'll go on board in the driver cam. That's not driver cam that I wanted. That one will do just fine. So in car 240, braking really late for the corner, and very nice, using all the exit. And he'll now start his climb to the top of the mountain. Must be very precise. Try to extend as much as you can without absolutely smashing into the barriers. But yeah, coming through now at the top. Again, very clean. Now, one of the most difficult sections of the mountain is coming up. It is the descent down. Almost wall rubbing on the wall there, but pretty clean so far. And this is where it gets tricky. Again, very smooth braking. Still very smooth braking. Very nice little taken by Tamara. Still very close to the wall. Yeah, that is perfect example of how you take that middle section of the mountain. And now he's down off the mountain. He's currently 4/10 up on the lap time. I mean, you would expect it. It looks pretty much bang on. And now, yeah, approaching 5/10 on the delta. Will currently put him into a 2-minute 2, so it won't put him for original pole at the moment. Porsche is currently 4/10 on the delta as well, so lots of improvement for everyone. But the rain is coming soon, and I'll start to notice that quite shortly, I'd like to imagine. But Porsche will come across the line to a 59.9, and tomorrow now will come across the line to also go for a 2-minute flat. It's not something I thought he was going to go in F59, but he's not. It's a 2-minute flat from tomorrow. Not enough just yet. Porsche does come in. He has to come straight back out if he wants another lap. Otherwise, it's the rain that's going to get him. But looking down the grid, then Max Davies in the AMG, currently P9, was quite a bit on the delta, and he did improve. 2-minute 1.8, so lots of improvement from everyone on the grid at the moment. There's currently Orhan at the moment. He's currently a second up on the lap time. Has got a little bit of traffic ahead of him, He's going to lose a little bit of time, but he should either way get a massive improvement. He's currently P18. He loses a little bit of time in the final corner, but goes back up to P16. That's a very nice lap indeed to try and improve. He has got a few tenths in that lap, we know, so we should see him improve. You can see how many cars are coming out the pit lane for their final laps before it starts raining. So this will be where it's interesting. A little bit of an update on sectors then. Currently it's Giovanni with the best sector 1, 38.0 in the Mustang. That is quite expected with the long straight. And then it's Tamara taking sector 2, who's pretty much now equal with the lap time. So let's see about that. And then it's Porshikov in the pit lane at the moment with a 26.7 in a purple sector 3. But Tamara still equal on the delta. He needs to improve a little bit, and he has. He's already got a 10th in that corner line. This will be enough for a provisional pole. Porshikov has not come out, so that means Porshikov's quali is over unless it doesn't rain anymore. But we'll soon find out. But it's going to be enough improvement for tomorrow to go provisional pole then by 5 thousandths of a second. I just realised you cannot see said delta. I need to try and fix that. But I can't remember the button. I'm pressing all different buttons on the keyboard now. I thought it was that one. That one? No? I don't know. I'll sort it out in between quali and race. Is it that one? No. Okay, that's fine. I'll sort it out in a bit, but you're going to have to trust me when I say about the deltas for now. Yeah, it looks like a pretty good lap actually from Emirates in the Ford Mustang. Is currently going 2 tenths up, and if he continues this lap, it will be provisional pole as well, because Tamara's in the pit lane now, so there'll be no improvement for him. And we'll go on interior cam with the Mustang, see how close he was to the slow car, and now we'll have to look for the downhill section. We'll see a little bit of grass touching there, how smooth he is compared to Tamara. Again, very nicely held in the Mustang, how tight he took that over the line, snapping at the wheel, and this is not really doing much improvement to his lap time, so it looks like he's pretty much got it spot on either way on both his laps. But he exits the mountain, losing a little bit of time. It's going to be around 2 tenths by the time he finishes at the end of this straight, but he should, with the Mustang, get a good run on that straight, gain some time back on the other guys. But you can see on his windscreen it is raining, and it is raining pretty, well, I say pretty heavy, it looks heavy from the driver cam, but he's going to be losing time now. You can see how snappy he is over the curbs. He's still got 2 tenths. He's still not enough for provisional pole. He's losing and losing time because of the rain. He had enough, but he doesn't anymore. He's going to leave the final corner all over the grass, but it is not going to be enough for an improvement. It's really unlucky because of the rain. You can see now everyone is on a lap. Thomas is currently 2 tenths up. He won't actually, I don't think he has to push a little bit more to get a position improvement. Again, he's just losing time. Like absolutely everyone else, he's already now got no time in the delta. So yeah, it's just a real shame about the conditions that make quite 10 minutes shorter. But yeah, you can see the rain coming down there, and how bad it is. But in a way, it gives these guys some wet practice to do. And so I'll be interested to see if any of them do go out for some wet practice. I don't think they will, but we'll see. Ivan currently is second up on the lap time, and he is going to cross the line with no improvement. I don't know how that's just happened. He's just literally, he gained a second, come round the final corner and gains nothing. It's oddly strange, but either way then, that's looking like quali done already. 8 minutes, or yeah, early, 8 minutes early, but is Tamara then on pole position? It's a 59.9, followed by Porshikov, the only other driver In the 59s, it's a 59.9 again. Remember, that's separated by 5 thousandths of a second. And then it's Emirates in the Ford Mustang, the 2-minute one. Then it's Giovanni, who seems to be leaving the pit lane, maybe some wet practice, but separated by 3 tenths is P4 and P1, followed by Gabriel in the other Mustang. Very close lap times in these positions at the moment, and then separating P5 and P6, it's a 3/10 gap to Harry, who is driving in the Big Brain Racing team. It's Harry that set the lap time. It's a 2-minute .6, and then in P7 it's Gear in the Ford Mustang as well. Then obviously Thomas in P8, Anthony in P9, and then Motta in P10, and a familiar face outside the top 10. It's Usby. Didn't get the lap he wanted, obviously, and yeah, well, 2-minute 1.6. I'm sure he would have not been happy about that. I mean, he is in a McLaren, it isn't his car at all, but it'll be interesting to see. I am driving in this team today, so he will be getting bullied a little bit later this evening for this quality performance. But either way, unlucky, and hopefully they can make some positions up early in the race. Artem in P12, followed by Nikkonen, who set the lap time for the 485 car, another Big Brain Racing car. He's also got a few teammates with him as well in the Ferrari, followed by Michael in the BMW, and then obviously Max Davies, who we spoke a little bit about earlier, in the Mercedes, down in P15 at the moment, so lots of improvements that pushed him downwards. And we have Freddie Murley, who's currently on some wet practice at the moment. He's currently down in P16 with a 2-minute 1.8, then followed by Valentin in P17 in the P7 car, and then Yuri in the McLaren, and is now going out for some web practice, and followed then by Daniel in the 3 Ford Mustang. Then we've got the 420 car, the Porsche, and I'm sure this is going to be a very fun experiment for these guys. I mean, a Porsche at wet conditions at Bathurst is going to be quite interesting to see. It does look absolutely brilliant though on the TV cameras, so fair play to them. Then we got Ohan, we were speaking about earlier, also got pushed down in the order. Then Nicholas in P22, Ivan in P23, another wet runner in Vladislav in the Ford Mustang, Hugo, followed by Thomas in P26, Marcin in P27, and Dennis in P28, followed by another wet runner, Dimitri in P29. He's getting some wet practice in the Audi, and that is potentially an even worse combination than the Porsche, so we'll have to see how they get on at the start of the race. And then Lucas, who's now magically out and about going for a wet run, followed by Alvaro in the McLaren, and then Gamer in P32, and last in the P17, the number 17 car. So very interesting, and interesting quality. But yeah, we'll have to see how they all get on in the race. I'm sure it will be very interesting to see. But for now then, we are currently watching, well, we'll watch some of the wet runners. We'll watch Usby. He's currently out on track doing some wet runs, and we'll make sure we can laugh at him when quali ends. I haven't actually seen him drive in a McLaren ever, so this is quite a weird and unusual experience for me to be watching right now. He's probably already faster than me in the McLaren, but yeah, this is very weird. But either way, lots of I've got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 11 cars on track at the moment, doing some wet practice, and I used to be doing some lawnmower practice and some barrier tapping practice as well. Make sure you guys clip that, and yeah, we'll have to see. Dimitri hasn't set a lap time. He's currently on a 2 minute 6, so wet times at the moment. And because he hasn't set a lap time, he's still on a valid lap. And he actually could improve. If he keeps a good delta, he could improve to P28, because Ustinov in P28, the 35 Porsche, he's in the pits. So if Dimitri can keep a good lap together, he's already got a good lap together, he's got a second, so he could improve here to P28. So this will be a potential position change in these wet conditions. So this is going to be very interesting. He's currently got 2 seconds up on the delta, so this will put him down to a 2-minute 4.8. Now he's got 3/10, so a 2-minute 4.5, and that currently, if he gets a little bit more on the delta, he could put him up to P27. So he could gain 2 positions here. P27 is currently on track, but down on delta, so I have to see. There's a little bit of a snap though from Dimitri. It's not what I expected into this, but we'll go on board on the passenger cam. Let's see how treacherous the conditions actually are. He needs around, I think he needs around 2 or 3 more tenths, and he's losing time at the moment. He needs a little bit more in this final sector. He will get another lap after this, but he will want to improve and get it out of the way, I'm sure. But yeah, it's currently looking like it's going to be a 2:04.5. He needs a tiny smidge more to get P27. So we'll have to see what he can do into these final couple of corners, and he loses a massive amount of time into that corner a little bit. He gains it all back on exit though. He has got enough now. He just needs to keep a very tidy final corner, and he will have P27. So this will be a very tight lap. He loses a little bit of time on the exit, but it won't matter because the time didn't count. I love race control. I really do. I really love it when it tells you something and then doesn't tell you. That's my favourite feature of the application. Unfortunate, but that is quali over then. And like I said, we've already run through the order, but for another recap, it is Tamara on pole position, followed by Pushkov, Emirates, Giovanni, Fidatore, and that rounds out the top 5. So, very interesting indeed. Hopefully we get a good race. Pretty sure we will, so we'll have to see. For now, we'll have to wait. Hopefully it is a wet start, because a wet Bathurst start in an endurance race is just fun. So we'll have to see, obviously, what it's all going to be about, but we'll have to wait for the max time limit to roll over. We've still got some cars on track doing their lap times. One in the Ford Mustang at the moment, and others in the pit lane. But there you go, there is quali over, and well, now we'll see where it all gonna start off. 2 McLarens on pole, followed by 3 Ford Mustangs. This is definitely a sight. Is it going to be a dry start? So as you can see there, we'll now get ready. Drea is the driver that will be starting this race. I don't know. Actually, I don't think that's true. Yeah, it's been updated. Tomorrow we'll be starting the race. Ignore the left-hand side. That will update. Well, as soon as it updates, I guess. I think it'll probably be as soon as we go green flag racing. But it is tomorrow in the car, as you can see indicated by the nameplate. So We'll have to see. Gregorian lines up in the 696 McLaren, taking over from Borshakov, and we'll have to see how the start of this race is going to go. Is looking like a very good no wind, so that will mean there'll be no current changes in weather for the foreseeable future. Track is optimum, 26-33 degrees with perfect conditions to start the race. So there'll be no excuses for lack of grip other than cold tyres. So we'll have to see how they get on. But as you can see down the grid, it is majority. I think there's actually quite a fair few Ford Mustangs today. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 9 Ford Mustangs out of 32 cars. And there's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10 McLarens. So they will be the main 2 in this race. Actually, very little Ferraris. I thought there'd be a few more, but either way, we will get underway in about 40 seconds time, and we will shortly be underway. I will quickly take a quick break, and we will get underway for the start of this race.
Peggy 18.
Alright then, welcome back to the end of the formation lap, where we'll soon get green flag racing for the first hour of this 8-hour endurance, part of the 2025 endurance series, obviously hosted by ACM. So Tamara is leading the formation lap, very close quality between the 240 and the 696 cars. And there is a McLaren cutting across the grass. Yeah, we'll see about that. We're all lining up now in formation as we are about to get under green flag racing. We got a very good amount of drivers, and we'll get underway very shortly. There you go, the delta has now been fixed, and we're about to get green flag racing then. Let me see if I can try get the best camera angle for the start of this race. That is probably the best one I'm going to get from ACC, but either way, the green flag is now. You can see Tamara got a fantastic start against Gregorian. Into turn 1 they will go, get the helicam just for all the action. Two Mustangs side by side then. On the exit, it looks like a relatively clean start to this race, which is very unusual at Bathurst. But currently still got two Mustangs side by side then, coming towards turn 2. As two McLarens will fly away off that start. It is Giovanni on the inside, Emirates on the outside. Emirates swoops around the outside, takes back the P3 and puts in a very nice performance. It's still looking quite clean at the moment, so no incidents at this second. But there's lots of changes up and down the grid. Thomas has gained a few positions off the start as well in the Ferrari, and we'll look to the top of the field as there's already a 1 second gap between P5 and P6, and Emirates is looking very close to the back of Gregorian right now. We'll watch on the driver cam for a view of so on. You can see the delta between the drivers on the left hand side of your screen. It's not going to be as quickly updating as mine will, but we'll try our best regardless. But McLaren looking like it's getting a much better time at the moment, as Tamara leading by 1.2 seconds at the moment by the end of the first lap. But Emirates is looking to try and make a move on the 696 McLaren. He is going to try and move using all the Ford Mustang speed around the outside at one of the fastest corners on this circuit, and wow, really well done. And Emirates now up into P2 after just at the start of this lap being threatened for P4. So very nicely done, and we'll see if Emirates can now use the Ford Mustang speed to try and catch up to Tamara, who's wanting to eat grass at the moment. Either way, the lap time is now filing in, and I think we've just had a full Bathurst lap, completely clean, which I've never thought I'd ever say before, but that is the case. Meanwhile, in the other Ford Mustang, Gabriel looking for a move on Thomas in the 296. They have got the BMW, the 486, just up ahead of them as well. So Villatore on the outside, around the outside of the Mustang. There's contact, and the Villatore has spun at turn 2. He can't really rejoin the track. How many cars are coming by? He needs to find the perfect opportunity to try and get back on track. This car's going side by side. There's more contact, and this is where it gets really tricky. If you're side by side to the corner, it does make things hard. But Villatore is doing the right thing and giving way to all these drivers, however much painful it is at the moment. But either way, then Gregorian off circuit as on the downhill. He's completely under pressure already from another Ford Mustang. I would wonder why they didn't put Pushkov in to start this race. You usually, whoever does quality, you put in to start the race. They'll be around the strength of field where they would be, but it looks like Gregorian's pretty much maybe out of position a little bit. He needed Pushkov to start this race ideally, but at the moment he's still holding his own. Like I said, they've still got quite a big gap already for the first opening couple of laps. So This time the Mustang goes to the outside. Gregorian holds the inside, very nicely defended from the 696 car. But Gregorian has to try. But the Mustang looks like he's got a little bit more pace than McLaren does. Mustang braking a little bit later. Gregorian on the inside will get the better exit regardless. It's McLaren versus Mustang. Down the straight they'll go. The Mustang will now use all of its straight line speed against the McLaren, and Gregorian has to tuck in there. But either way, great battle to see just on the opening couple of laps. So very well, nicely played between them, but they did lose around a second and a half doing all that. And but yeah, we'll see. Currently then, Emirates is closing on Tamara. It's currently a 2-minute 1.3 for Emirates last time round. It was a 2-minute 1.6 for Tamara. So Emirates seems to get much better, well, much more confident at the start of this race than Tamara is. Again, it is 8 hours. There is still plenty of things can happen. But we'll go on board or get a better camera angle with Emirates and see where is he gaining the time, because you'd think the McLaren on the hill, specifically in this section right now that we're going into, the McLaren would be much superior, but it doesn't seem like it all too much, and it looks like the Mustang is pretty much dominating the McLaren at the moment all over, and which is quite unusual, because mainly you'd see the Mustang be winning in this straight here, which is going to gain loads of time to Tamara 2, and the start finish straight, and then the straight after turn 1. That's mainly where the Mustang will be good, but anywhere else I don't really see it performing any better than the McLaren will. But it looks like there's a significant pace difference between these two, and Emirates is going to try and make the absolute most of it. He's already overtaken Gregorian, and now he wants the P1 coming after Tamara in the process. The gap is half a second between the two, and we'll now see how close can Emirates get by the time we get to turn 2. We'll go on board with the Mustang driver. It was a 2-minute 0.9 last lap. Tomorrow was a 2-minute 1.5, so it's a personal best of tomorrow as well, so it's not like he isn't pushing. So we'll have to see how this lap goes for them too, but it looks like there's a lot of action currently for P12. There's a little bit of a, I think it's a very small train of cars at the moment, but yeah, we'll have to see. But we'll keep an eye on the P1 Delta for you guys. But currently then between P12 and 13 separates 0.2 of a second, and lots of drivers pulling out, and that's one of them is the Porsche. The 420 Porsche made a massive dive on, I don't even know who that was on anymore, but he didn't make the move stick, I don't think, and the Aston does get through, but we'll have to see how that is for the moment. But also looking for a move is Thomas, 23 Ferrari, chasing after the 486 car, driven currently by Nico in the Brick Lane Racing team as well, so a little bit under pressure from them guys, and looks like Tamara is picking up the pace ever so slightly. He's dropped the gap to around a second now, so Tamara is holding his own at the moment. Looks like maybe a little bit of an issue, but we've still got a massive train still, as the train now extends down from P10 down to P14 at the moment. Obviously with the Porsche making that move, a couple of guys did drop out of that train, but either way then, Usby looks like he also wants to make a move. He's got a little bit of pressure behind from the BMW, and he has got a Mercedes in front of him that he wants to get past. Again, this is such a cursed video to be watching right now, is watching Usby in a McLaren, but he is chasing Mercedes, want to try and make the move, or he has to try and make the move in the middle part of the circuit. The Mercedes will just fly away from him on the straights, so he hasn't really got much choice, but we'll have to see how that gap does down. But it looks like side-by-side action between the Aston and the Ferrari. Still side-by-side, the Aston on the inside then, and makes a very lovely move in turn 1. Very well made. That is Valentine up into P13 then, but Usby also side by side with the Mercedes up into turn 2 they'll go. It's not the Cameron guy needed goodness, but Usby can't get the McLaren around the outside, and they'll have to try again. You can see penalties being applied by the stewards then, and it's currently Nico, the 486 car, the 10-second time penalty, and Thomas as well, the 23, the car behind, has a 5-second time penalty, and Ustinov in P20 has a 5-second time penalty. So, although it looks relatively clean so far, it looks like there is a fair few penalties to come out at the moment, but we'll go back down to the P13 battle, as could get quite interesting quite quickly as the train ever continues. With the, again, P1 gap not much improving, but there's a massive crash that I don't even know who that was, but there's a crash there, and it looked like, yes, it looked like Ferrari, after he had to return to the garage. It looked like there was a little bit of contact there. We'll have to go back and just see what on earth just happened there. You can see that, so the red BMW is what crashed, so you can see them just up ahead. Oh, they lose it in the wall and then it gets crashed into him, and yeah, really unlucky that. And yeah, again, taps the barrier again, a little bit of contact with the Porsche as well. Again, not really a day in the office, but either way then, we're currently watching Michael chasing after Giuseppe at the moment, and you can see yeah, these guys gaining a couple of positions due to Ferrari pitting. We'll have to see, but at the top then, Tamara and Emirates setting pretty much identical lap times, and so yeah, they're doing that pretty well. But at the moment then, looking up and down the grid, there's lots of close cars still, and one of them is Ivan, who's looking for a move on the 100 McLaren, and he loses it with the Mustang just behind him. So a little bit of action going on here. The Mustang should get a decent run on the Ferrari. I think he does. I think the Ferrari's going to have to seat this one, but he's not. He's going to stick his nose in, and he's going to make the Mustang go the long way around, and he does. So yeah, not really ideal, but as more trains ever continue. Looks like the Aston has improved his position up into P12. He gets past Soars in the 46 McLaren. So again, great to see. Very late braking from the McLaren though. Looks like the McLaren wants that back pretty quickly. Well, actually, we'll stay on board with the McLaren. See what the plan is, because he looked like he really wanted that back. Look how late he was braking and everything. But either way, then another train has formed as Usby still chasing this Mercedes, and might have to try and make a different move this time. Try fake one if possible. He has got Giuseppe behind and Matthew. Sorry for a second there, but sorry, not Matthew, Michael, sorry. Forming this little train, and I'm sure Usby wants to try and pass as quickly as possible, but he kind of can't, because he gains all the time on the mountain, can't find the gap to overtake, but the Mercedes gains it all on the straight, so it makes it very difficult for Usby to get past. You can see there's the Ferrari in the background there. That's the 485 Ferrari, another big brain racing car in the train of these guys as well. We'll be joining them shortly, so we could have another lot of big action for P7 at the moment, and we'll have to see obviously how that all goes for those guys. But at the top, the gap is separated by 0.3 of a second. We'll keep an eye on the gap because it's just following each other, but we'll stay on board with this little train just for a little bit. We'll go on passenger cam with Usby and see exactly, or try to see exactly what he's seeing. Where does he gain? Where doesn't he? Is what we really need to be focusing on. He's a little bit hesitant into the top of the mountain, and that's probably where you see the Mercedes almost snapped on the descent here, and he's definitely being more cautious so you should be definitely gaining time on the mountain to the Mercedes, but as soon as it comes to the straight, there isn't a lot he can do. But at the top of the field, can Emirates do something that USP can't, and that is overtake at Bathurst at the moment. There's lots of action everywhere, but the Mustang looks like he's got a great exit on Tamara, and he's pushing him through the final corner. Looks at the outside though, and doesn't get it, but it's definitely put the pressure on. And at the moment, we'll have to try again. But if he tries to stay close, well, I don't know why he tried to make the move there. I would have tried to stay close and then try make the overtake into turn 2, where he knows you have the speed advantage against Tamara. But we'll have to see how that goes for them. But it looks like Emirates is definitely still pushing. Like I said, Emirates started P3, got pressured by P4, shrugged them off on lap 1, and overtook Gregorian, who's now sitting in P4, and now chasing after the leader of this race. So we'll have to see. We know Drea will probably be a little bit quicker than Tamara will be, so we'll have to see how that comes into effect later into this race. We know Pushkov is faster than Gregorian as well, so we'll have to see how that all comes into effect a bit later into the race. I know Eric versus Pushkov is something I really want to see again. A big snap from the Mustang though. I think a little bit happy on the curbs. I'm sure everyone wants to see that rivalry reopen, because I remember watching those races a couple months ago. That was definitely something to watch. But yeah, for a moment, USV did get past the Mercedes, but I think he's lost the position again. So he's back down to P8 and still chasing, unfortunately. But just the way it goes. But little mistake from the Mustang into the final sector. It does put him back a few tenths to Tamara, but nothing he won't gain back, I'm sure, as these two will continue to chase each other, I'm sure, for the rest of the time until one of them makes a mistake. So, and we'll go back to P23, watching Ivan. Then just saw him and the Mustang get a little bit happy together, and this is a train from P20 all the way down to P26, so it's a 6-car train, and well, it's definitely something down the mountain. You can see them all filing down. There's a little bit of contact between that was Homer and Maurice as well, so a little bit of contact at the bottom of the mountain. That's an awkward position to lose it and be sideways, but you see positions being made then, a Mustang versus a Mustang. Lots of action being happening right now. Side by side they'll go. We'll go into a better camera angle if I can get one. Side by side still they go into the corner. A lot of late braking from Arhan, but no, he goes flying off the circuit, and is not what he wanted for the 22 car. Where is he? He's there. You can see him in the background, way too late on the brakes. At the moment then, another late braker. And these four, then there's a car entering the pit lane. I did get worried for a second because I saw blue and I had to make sure Tamara wasn't in the pits, but he's not, so that's all good. USP has now got past the Mercedes. He's now already got a 1.5 second gap to him, and Emirates still chasing Tamara. We'll get a little passenger cam from this angle. It's looking like quite an intense race. These two are the only guys in this race in the 2-minute ones at the moment, and we'll have to see, will Emirates try and make a pass here? It looks like it pulls alongside Tamara. He'll look for the inside for this corner. He does get it, but Tamara has to late brake here. If he wants to position back, he doesn't. Tamara does think against it, and he'll try use the McLaren acceleration to try and get the move back into the final corner, but the Mustang defends it well. Tamara has to try find position elsewhere. He gains a little bit too much curb on the final corner, and now the Mustang will unfortunately for Tamara fly away. But unless Tamara wants to try put the pressure on, I did think he was going to go for the dive then. It did seem like a Tamara thing to do, but keeps it clean for now, and will now be chasing the Mustang, which will be quite difficult with the straight line speed, but we'll have to see, because again these two are the top two in the race, but that means that we do have a lead change in the first 20 minutes of this race. Meanwhile then, Yuri soars as well, getting a position done, and alongside the Mercedes. It looks like there's a little bit of damage to the rear of that Mercedes, so yeah, we'll have to see. I don't know what that was about, but looks like they're still going side by side. Yuri just getting past them before turn 2, so very nicely done. We'll stick with the top 2 just for a little bit longer, as Tamara tries to get everything, but he makes a mistake, gets a little bit deep, and that does put him offline, and that's the next couple of corners, and you'll lose time because of that. And yeah, so now once Tamara's not in the lead, the pressure is definitely been put on him to try and make up lost time, but he can't really afford for the Mustang to slip away from him at this stage of the race. He'll want to try and hand over the car within a decent gap to the Mustang, I'm sure. If you haven't known, it is a 65-minute stint timer on this race, so that each driver will have to have 65 minutes each stint, maximum. It's not a minimum, it is maximum, so they can stop before and change. But yeah, he said I'm sure tomorrow probably wanted to hand over the car a little bit closer. He can't really let it slip away more than around 5 seconds, I'd say, before the end of the hour. So we'll have to see how this progresses. But something that is progressing is the Aston, who is defending and attacking. Brilliant. I think that's a McLaren that just got by, and now the Aston wants it back. So we'll have to see how that works for the Aston. They're looking for a move to the outside. McLaren blocks it nicely. We'll come around to the final corner. We're going to pass chicane on the Aston. See what it's all about. There's lots of personal bests being flown up in the top 10 at the moment. So these guys definitely seem to be improving the lap times. We'll have to see how that continues. But at the moment, Valentin still looking for a move on McLaren, and we'll have to see if he can get it or not. But Samara has brought down the gap at the top to around 0.5 of a second, and Freddie Merley at the moment chasing after the Mercedes has dropped so many positions since we overtook them, and they can see, well, he pretty much gave way to the BMW there, but they're still side by side into Audi corner, and there's another another Mercedes trying to get past as well. And another little train forming. Everyone likes a good Bathurst train, that's for sure, but that was Freddie getting by. And Anthony seems to be struggling with the damage, and yeah, it's quite a bit, so I wonder if that's how USP got past. Maybe he's that Cheppel lost it. We know he was a little bit snappy into this section of the circuit, so if he caught the barrier, then I'd imagine it'd probably been it. There's blue flags out for somebody. I don't know who that somebody is, but there is blue flags out, so, and then we'll have to see. But the double yellow motorsport 301 car maybe not having the best start to this race. Only 20 minutes gone, and going to be losing to Davies potentially in the Ram racing car. We'll have to see. He does make a move to the inside. It will be side by side, but I think Cheppel will let that one go. Not much he can really do about it, but he snapped on the curb. It's a big crash from Cheppel, smashing the boards, and that is one of the potentially the most crazy crash I've seen at Bathurst that does not involve a car in space. Just caught the curb wrong, spun into the barrier. It looked like such a real crash. It was quite realistic, but that means Cheppel has just smashed all the braking boards for that corner, and that could make a little bit tricky for some of the drivers that don't use the racing line, which I think is the majority of the guys here. So we'll have to see how that works out for these guys, because no braking marker could end bad, and we'll have to see. But currently watching Tamara and Emirates, who currently hold around an almost 9-second gap to the rest of the field at the moment. So they are doing a pretty good job at flying away from the rest of the grid. But now there's no braking boards. What do these guys do? We're about to find out. As remember, Chapel just crashed on this corner here. He caught this curb wrong, which is quite a deadly curb. You can see you only got the 150. After that, it's a complete guess. And these two, obviously very experienced, know where to brake, and they'll continue their race like nothing ever happened. But yeah, big crash from the Mercedes driver. Not really what you want to see, especially this early. We're rounding up on the halfway mark of the first hour of this race, so we'll have to see how it all plays out. But down the field then, Ivan chasing a Mustang, which is something you don't really see all too often. Or see if we can get a wing cam from the Mustang. How much does he pull away from the Ferrari on the straights alone is going to be quite interesting. But yeah, these guys still chasing. I said there's lots of battles up and down this grid, which is incredible. Having the Ferrari braking a little bit later than the Mustang will. Again, there's no braking. There's no ideal braking board there anymore. So it's all pretty much guessing unless you have racing line on. But we'll have to see, of course. But Usby has now found himself within a second of the 486 BMW. So we'll have to see how that plays out. But I'm sure after Usby only got past Chapel because he crashed, it's going to be quite difficult for Usby to try and overtake the BMW. But he has got a significant pace difference. But okay, race control just killed itself, which isn't fantastic. It said Gregorian just lost like 26 positions, but he hasn't. He's still in P4. Don't panic. And he's currently watching Giovanni overtake a blue flag, and so we could still have Gregorian versus Giovanni at the moment. But one thing we're all going to have is Tamara versus Emirates, who are still continuing this battle. Tamara getting quite close this time again, taking a little bit too much curb, but I could be wrong. I'm not. He's pretty much, he lives at Bathurst, so I don't really know. A little bit of a late break lunge for Tamara. That is what I expected Tamara to do a little bit earlier into this race, and he did think about it, but luckily there's no contact there. Now this is the Tamara that I thought we'd be seeing a little bit earlier on in this race, but it looks like it's come out now. He's probably been told to hurry up from his teammates, so he's definitely now putting on the pressure. But so in that very case, we'll make sure we'll stay on board with these two and make sure we don't see any more Tamara surprises. Is known for being the first McLaren sent to space at the Nürburgring, so we'll have to see how that all comes about. But half a second between these two, so we'll see. Is Tamara locked in, or will he crash out? We'll find out if we watch this battle a little bit longer. But down the mountain they go, and the Mustang looking pretty stable. And well, it looks like the McLaren is gaining a little bit in the braking, but Mustang seems to be holding its own for the majority of the high speed and the low speed. But we'll have to see. And let's see, the Mustang, you can see, just powers away on the straight. I'm going to take a quick water break, and then I'll be back very shortly. But I will leave you on a TV cam, a good TV cam, I hope, between these two, so you don't miss any of the top action. I'll be back in around 5 minutes time. Alright, I am back a little bit earlier than I expected. All I needed was a quick drink, but either way, I joined back at the right time. As Tamara very close to the back of the Mustang at the moment, and want to see if he can make an overtake or not. But more penalties being applied. Thomas still got that 5-second. 486 car still got a 5-second. Davies in P14 10-second, and Porsche behind another 10 seconds. Homer's got 15, and Lucas Repper has got 5 seconds as well. So lots of penalties being applied at the moment, but incidents I haven't really seen too many, so could be for little things or things in quali. But either way, this is the battle we're focusing on. Nothing outrageous has happened between these two, I would imagine, just yet, as the gap has stayed the majority of the same. So we'll have to see, but something that is happening at the moment is USB versus the 486 car. And yeah, we can see that obviously USB still pushing to try and get by. I have got some confidential information that I will share. Of course, is that Kelly, teammate of USB, and obviously I am driving for the 999 car, but Kelly has asked Harry, who's also driving in the 486 car, for team orders to let USB by. And in that very information, Kelly has now been banned from ACM. That is a joke. I'm probably now going to be, I don't know, removed from the RSR group. But either way, good banter, friendly banter, and should provide an exciting battle between these two. But USB can't get too focused on the car ahead. He's got a BMW much closer to him behind, so USB in a little bit of a BMW sandwich at the moment. It's probably like the worst position he could be in a McLaren car he doesn't know all too well. So we'll have to see, but we'll cut back quickly to the top of the field as these two are once again very, very close, and we'll want to see how it all plays out between these two. Like I said, we should start seeing maybe more strategy calls being made now. So, we've only had 30 minutes of racing, but start thinking about strategy for some of these guys. Giuseppe, speaking of, is in the pits now, so he went down from P5 down to P9 and losing. So we'll have to see how strategy is being played. But there's a big slide from the Mustang, a wall tap from Tamara. So these two definitely are on the edge. Big slide from the Mustang, wall tap, massive wall tap for the Mustang there, and Tamara now will be definitely trying to push. But remember, Tamara also had a little bit of wall tap, so his confidence probably a little bit knocked, but not as knocked as that Mustang. It just absolutely smashed into that barrier. I'm surprised it didn't actually bounce him off into the middle of the track, but obviously the Mustang is a bit of a unit, so I suppose if that was Tamara that did that, then that would have been Tamara's race over, and that is for sure. But now this does open up quite an exciting battle for the lead after a little bit of mistakes. So yeah, we'll have to see how it all plays out. It was these guys are in the 2-minute 2s now. There's actually the 201 Mustang behind them in P3 currently is doing 2-minute 1s. If these guys keep this up, they're going to be slowly losing time to the Mustang behind. But I wouldn't imagine it'd be too much before the end of these guys' stints, but we'll have to see. But very late on the brakes for Tamara. He does make that stick, and he will gain time for Emirates because of it. So very nicely held. Again, putting on the pressure is Tamara at the moment. He just needs a clean run up the hill, and he needs another wall tap from the Mustang, and he should have a very good opportunity to re-overtake Emirates for the lead of this race. We'll have to see. It is easier to attack than it is to defend, so once again, once he switched around, I'm sure Emirates will be on the back of Tamara putting the pressure on. So That's all the good fun of racing, of course, but something that is happening is the BMW. So, hold on, let me get this right. Michael has got past Usby, so Usby absolutely terrible racing at the moment, by the looks of it. And now Michael looking also to overtake the BMW that Usby was having trouble overtaking. Could be quite interesting, but Michael commits to the inside now. A little bit of contact between the two. It's going to allow Usby to get past the 486 car, and Usby now, well, maybe it's a little bit of late strategy. I say strategy, it's probably just pure coincidence, but Usby will probably call it strategy of letting these two guys fight and crash each other out. But now Usby has to get past a different BMW, so the BMWs are just reversed order around Usby. So not much has really changed in that sense, but we'll have to see if Michael is faster than Usby is at this current stage. But Usby is passing out the 486 car and still in the same position, unfortunately, but he is past the 486 car. But so we'll have to see how that goes. But Tamara has made a massive mistake. We'll have to go back. I think we're going to go back a little bit longer and see exactly what happened. He's made 8 seconds to the Mustang, so something must have happened here. We'll try and keep up with it, make sure we haven't missed anything. But very late, he has to cut and loses it on the McLaren suspension down the hill. And yeah, that is. And he's stuck. He's stuck on the hill. That is not what he wanted at all. And that is Gregorian and the 201 Mustang behind him. Yeah, that is definitely not something you want to see. You can see the damage he has on the McLaren as well. So yeah, that is not really ideal whatsoever. Between you can see actually those two going side by side, and see Mustang getting past once again. But yeah, that is not ideal from Tamara, and that's what I mean. One small mistake like that can really end someone's race. But Tamara is continuing. He has got the Mustang behind him, and with damage from McLaren, it's going to be a little bit harder to drive. And a massive wall tap from Tamara again. Someone get him out of the car. He needs to be replaced. No, in all seriousness, it looks like he's definitely struggling at the moment with the damage and with the pressure of another Mustang behind him. It's definitely not ideal, but Emirates have been given a 5-second time penalty. Not that does much to Tamara's race at this current stage. It definitely does add a little bit of hope, I guess, towards the end of the race, or when it gets served. But Tamara just has to keep it clean and try not to think about the Mustang right behind them. But that's easier said than done. But yeah, interesting. As I said, one small mistake can really obviously end a race or provide quite a big, heavy damage to your race. Like I said, he just completely bottomed out and under the bumps and just completely wrecked the McLaren. And it doesn't help that he smashed into the wall maybe like a minute later. So yeah, not really ideal, but for us as the viewer, as I like to say, it's more action and more fun. We've now got a 3-way car fight for P2. What is not more to love? Very unfortunate for Tamara, but no one cares about what he's feeling at this current stage. I'm feeling excited, ready for this 3-way car fight, and that's what matters the most. So I'll have to see, but the Mustang looks like he's eyeing it up. He switches to the outside, side by side with Tamara. I think Tamara's going to have to let this one go. Can't really do much about it, but he's going to stick his nose in, and side by side still, and Tamara does get the better run. And well, I mean, well done from Tamara, I guess, from holding that in. But it's good. He's going to be losing time to these two, regardless. And Gregorian looking to try and make him move past these guys as well. So we'll have to see. But usually also past the 4. I know, we already had that discussion. I thought it was the 113 car, but no. Usually he's lost 2 seconds to the 113 car for reference. So yeah, we'll have to see. Anyway, we'll try and not leave this battle for a little bit, because I'm quite interested to see where this is going to go. But at the moment, it's looking like the Mustang will be getting past tomorrow in a matter of time. I'm not sure when, but at this rate, it's looking like it's pretty soon. But either way, Giovanni has led a pretty good race at the moment. He's currently P3, got past Gregorian, and now looking to get past Tamara, who has a McLaren with a fair amount of damage. It's not the race-ending damage, but it's definitely damage you don't want to have, and it will have to get repaired most probably when he stops. So, but the Mustang to the outside, still side by side with Tamara once again on the grass. Is the Mustang has not helped his run at all, and flashing Tamara as if to say, "Get out of the way, you've got damage." And that's exactly what Tamara's just done. He's in the pits 20 minutes early, and I imagine then we're switching now to either his teammate Drea or Sean Tempest. We'll have to see who they switch to very shortly, but I would like to imagine it will be Drea getting in the car after this setback. So we'll have to see shortly, but he was losing time and he continues losing time. We'll have to see where they are at the end of this stint and where they are at the end of the race. We'll have to find out, but Gregorian making the most of that opportunity is now looking to get past Giovanni for P2, and obviously these two have both now been promoted to podium places, so we'll have to see. But you can see Tamara dropping down the order at the moment. He's currently P11 and losing now P12. A massive setback in the pits, and it's really going to hurt their race, but you know, it is what it is sometimes. But we'll go on board with Homer. It's a home race for Thomas Homer, so looking to try and get past a Ford Mustang at the moment, and he's also got another McLaren behind him as well. There's lots of action up and down at the moment, but side by side is the other McLaren. He managed to get past pretty nicely. That's a very nice overtake from Nicholas Maurice. Really nicely well done, and it got Davies as well behind. I think Davies is actually a lap down on these guys, so we'll have to see. But yeah, lots of action. That's a very nice overtake from Nicholas. So and he will now look to try and get past the number 10 Mustang as well. But for reference, Tamara has come out now in P16, and it's not Tamara, it is Sean Tempest. So it wasn't Drea. So interesting strategy. Maybe Drea wants to go towards the middle of this race, try to pick up the pieces then. But Tempest obviously very fast driver indeed as well, about the same pace as Tamara. So we should see very close to the wall as well. So definitely not lifting up, and that's for sure. But I'll have to see if Sean can try and get the team up and out of the depths of the P16 and back towards the top 10 by the end of his stint. I'm sure that'll pretty his main focus. Obviously, we know he's definitely got the pace for it. It's just trying to set the lap times and getting clean lap times in, and trying to manage traffic as best as he can. Anyway, we'll go back on board with Arsene then as he chases down Giovanni in the 201 Mustang. We'll stay on board with these guys for a little bit as I get another drink of water because my mouth is incredibly dry. So I'll be back very shortly, and we hopefully should see some system changes. am back, and once again we are back again with lots of action. Gregorian still chasing after Giovanni in the Mustang. We're looking at a mistake from Hassan then, and you'll have to try and make the most out of that. But we've got around 10 minutes to go then till the end of the first hour, and so yeah, we'll have to see. But most something to note as well is the wind has picked up to 1 kilometre an hour. It doesn't seem like a lot because it isn't, but it does mean the weather can now change. When there's 0 kilometres an hour, the wind doesn't mean it means the conditions won't change. If it's 1 or above, then they will change, and obviously depending on the more wind speed, more or quicker or the more likely it is to change, you could say. So hopefully we get some rain racing, because as long as I'm not driving in the rain, but we'll have to see how that all goes out and plays out. But at the moment it's looking like Gregorian is definitely pushing to try and catch the Mustang and try and make an overtake on the Mustang, so we'll have to see. But meanwhile we're going to watch a battle for P18 between Lucas and the number 10 Mustang. It's 2 Mustangs and Homer, who's obviously its home race as well. We'll see how it all plays out, but hopefully it should be a very interesting battle for P18. So we'll have to see. So we did have 32 cars starting this race. We're currently left with 30. So unfortunately 2 disconnects, but it is what it is. Chapel's still racing off that big crash, so we'll have to see. But so there is lots of action at the start of this, but Gregorian has, what is going on with everyone being in P2? As soon as these guys get into like a podium position, they just drop out. We'll have to see what happened to Gregorian here. He's dropped 11 seconds to Giovanni, so we'll call on passenger cam Gregorian and we'll try and see exactly what just happened. So coming up into turn 2, braking on the mark very nicely, very tidy. Again, very clean indeed. So what happens to Ardy corner? A little bit late, but nothing too serious. Yeah, they're looking clean. I don't know where does he lose it? See, now I'm very confused. Wait, he's back. Race control is trolling me today. It's telling me he lost like 11 seconds, and then I don't even know. I don't know. But he is currently 1.5 seconds behind the 201 Mustang. So we'll have to see. But regardless, but it's like Nikolai Dmitriev, car number 33 Mustang, is chasing after Gamer in the McLaren. 2 tenths separate these two. And obviously, the Mustang will be looking. He's flashing. He wants to try and get past. So we'll have to see. Meanwhile, Sean Tempest has managed to get past 1 driver since he got in the car, but he did have a massive gap. To be fair to him, he's now got 3.7 seconds to the next car as well, so he's definitely is pushing. Okay, there's quite big gaps between everyone around this kind of footage. You can see the gap between P14 and P13 is 20 seconds, so he's definitely done well enough so far. Definitely putting in decent lap times as well. He's matching the guys in P3 and P4, so that's good for him at the moment. We'll have to see, but Ivan chasing Cheppel. We've seen Cheppel already many times today, fighting Youthby, and he lost it into sector 3. So hopefully we don't see that again, but hopefully we see Ivan looking to make a move, which is looking very likely. He's pushing Sheppel at the moment. He's just trying to lie up the right move at this current stage. Big snap from Sheppel though in the Mercedes. We'll go on board with Ivan. Will Sheppel do the same thing he did before? Hopefully not. But Ivan looking for a move regardless. The Mercedes doesn't look that quicker on the straights than I thought it would. You can see the Ferrari actually pulling the slipstream. So yeah, and he actually pretty well done. But I think that maybe the Mercedes running quite a bit of wing, I can imagine, which is trying to equalising the straight line speed with the rest of the guys. So we'll have to see, but at the moment, other than this, there's not too much action, but we'll have to see, because Ivan looking for a move on Sheppel into turn 1, and they have got to give way. I think they've got to give way to that's Saws behind them. Yeah, they're blue flagged to the P10 driver, so they're going to have to, well, safely give way if they are giving way on a straight. Sheppel does that nicely. Ivan runs very shortly as well. But we're coming to conclude to our first hour then, as Emirates make his way past another blue flag. So a little recap before we end the first hour of this stream, and we'll be back for the final hour, of course. But to end it, we'll go through the order. Is Emirates currently leading with a 9.3 second gap over the 201 Mustang. Obviously after tomorrow had little kisses with the barrier, and as I said, Giovanni in P2 holding his own, overtook Gregorian off the start as well, and then obviously Gregorian who's losing quite a bit of time at the moment to Giovanni in P3, followed by Thomas, who's gained a fair amount of positions today, so fair play to him. Then Michael in the DC Sim Racing 113 car. Usby, it's still a very cuss thing to watch him in a McLaren. And then we have Nico in the Big Brain Racing 486 car. And we have Valentin in the ACC Racing Team, car number 7. And then we have Ira in the other Big Brain Racing car, the 485 team. Then Saws in the 46 McLaren, followed by Freddy in the 499 BMW, followed by Gear in the 42 Pixie Motorsport car, followed by Gabriel in the other Must Dragon 13 Racing team, and then Sean Tempest now in P14. He's definitely gained a few positions, just overtaken Uslu there. So again, on a good recovery is this team. They're doing pretty well, so we'll have to see where they are at the end of this race. But looks like they've actually, I don't know if they've repaired the damage. It looks like they've still got a little bit of front damage on the front of that McLaren. So interesting strategy from the guys. I'm not sure what's all about that, but still Sean putting in a 201.7 last time round, which is matching Giovanni, and Emirates did a 202.4 last time round. So Tempest currently faster than the race leader. So looks like it was a good choice. But either way, I said Orhan Uslu in P15, followed by Nicholas Maurice. We saw a great overtake from the 100 car earlier, and into the second to last corner. Vladislav, followed by Thomas Homer at the home race in a very nice McLaren livery, I must add. And then we have the monthly EMA 420 Porsche as well, very nicely sounding, followed by Lucas Reaper, Gamer in P21, who's currently defending, if I can get a good camera angle, thank you, was defending from the 33 BMW as not the 33 Mustang, you can see there with the BMW lapping them. So then you got the 33 BMW, followed by Ivan, and then followed by Sheppel, who we've seen lots of today. Then Max Davies in P25, followed by Hugo Castel in P26, Maxime in the 125 Audi, which you haven't seen much of today, and I imagine that's why it's got a huge amount of damage. Essentially, the Audi has just lost a position to Giuseppe in the McLaren, so good to see some action still going on after the first hour. I'd imagine some of these teams are now starting to think about pitting in the next, well, in the next between now and the next 5 minutes as the stint timer starts to run out. Marcin, not too fast and not too furious, I'd imagine. While looking at the front and at the end, I'm sure that is a true statement. But Triple Six car running in P29, and then our last place finisher at the moment is Alvaro Oliveira, the number 57 car, and so we'll have to see if they can improve shortly, but if not, they're getting on just fine at the moment, and that is where I will end this stream, and hopefully we can pick it up towards the end of this race and see the outcome. But thank you for watching for now, and we'll be back hopefully a little bit later.